so much for sitting with me today, everybody. I'm so glad you could come. Thank you to folks online for coming as well. Today, first of all, I love summer because we get such a shake up of people. I feel like the same way that the pollen is for some reason just gushing out of every tree right now and sweeping the floor, we get the same kind of lottery of folks. Normal, returning people go on trips. People who are going on trips end up here. People are exploring a little bit more. And so I just wanted to, extend a little gratitude to all of you for being here today. It's nice to see people here in the summer and feel the kind of vibrancy. And we've been doing these little short classes this month after Zenshin, teaching folks how to lead. And today I have to leave early, so that means everybody gets a class in the form of my talk. So you'll all be roped in. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about my process of learning how to be here. One way some folks might be sharing dharma talks soon for the first time, and one way that I find accessible to start a dharma talk, your first one, is to just talk about yourself a little bit. Give people context for your location. Usually each week I share, if you're here for the first time, I share a little bit of something I'm learning, teachings that I've been sitting with, quotes, dharma talks, anything like that I've referenced. But today I'll just give you a little background and introduction to myself. My name's Eli. I use all pronouns. Happy Pride Month. I came to this temple about 6 years ago, and I started coming here because I grew up going to the same association of churches in California. And so when I moved here, I'd never been to Chicago. I had never been to the Midwest at all. And so I wanted to go one place where I kind of could figure out how things worked and knew a little bit of familiarity. I ended up walking in here one day and seeing a cousin of somebody I grew up with, somebody's uncle, and it was just all so familiar that I really found a home. And I've been doing martial arts and meditation kind of my whole life in the Zen style and going to Jodo Shinshu temples. And for me, getting the chance to lead meditation or to be, just the one ringing bells or something is just as much practice as sitting on the cushion from this side. The chance to really do things intentionally and try to create a space that we think other people deserve, sometimes I find is a nice lesson in remembering what I deserve. I think each Sunday I get here early, I put out the cushions, I put out the suture books, and they're all the same way if you've noticed. There's kind of an intentionality built in how we put out things. I think it's a nice little test to see if you can think in your head, do you know which side your suture book is on, left or right, every week? Because it's on the same side every single week. And things like that seem small sometimes in practice when you're just thinking, okay, I ring the bell now, I go do this now, I go do that now. But creating an environment that inspires trust, I think can be a difficult thing. And it's really simple when you just break it down into little considerate acts. And so, folks come for the first time, we might have already started, but at least all the cushions are kind of set up in the same way where you can guess, okay, this is where people sit. There's some books on the end, so maybe people sit here too. It's like giving visual cues, just kind of for people to know, oh, there's a way things kind of happen here, so maybe I can just try and fall into that. Or they come back every week and we're doing certain things the same way, and you can kind of let go of the form so much because you're not thinking, oh, what's going to come next? What's going to come next? It's the same thing. I'm going to ring that bell. I'm going to say the same little mountain quote. I'm going to say the same little thing about the boulder. There's some things mixed in, but otherwise, I think the biggest lesson I learned in leading is that the practice isn't in the words at all. It isn't in the specifics. No matter how important and deep and profound our rituals are, the practice is in the people and the community here that so no matter who's up here, as I'm about to be gone for a month in July, no matter if you're up here or up here, and trying something for the first time or just participating in some other way, it's a chance to really come into this exact moment to think, what am I doing right now? How am I working with the sangha? Even if I'm not talking to half the people here, how have I prepared the seat for them? And I put it out in a nice way. Is it all kerfuffled and they're gonna have to, re-fluff their cushion, or will they be able to just sit down and maybe rest? And giving folks an opportunity to breathe. And I find the only way I can give folks an opportunity to breathe is if I remember to breathe myself. So it's that same thing. Whenever you're leading, I'm just telling myself the same thing over and over. I say sit like a mountain, and I'm not telling you specifically. It's words that have come before me that are just coming out of my mouth for all of us now. Right? Somebody told me to say those words. Somebody told them to say those words. The specifics isn't so much the point, details matter, but the intention, I find, is the kind of place where I rest my awareness. How I learn to be in community is how I can gauge how I am each week by looking out and seeing your sutra books. Are they all kind of crooked? Am I not really caring for you that well? Am I not caring for myself? Because I'm just, that usually means I just kind of rushed by and did it with a weird back and kind of, I'm going to be stiff and grouchy probably up here in my head. Or did I take my time to just really place them out, take a deep breath with each one, and have that time to connect with myself and make space for making space? So kind of a meta talk, a talk on talking almost, but that's my sharing for today. And just some announcements would be that I will be gone for all of July in a monastic trip in Taiwan. And so I'm inviting folks who would like to learn how to lead. Today we won't have a little class, but I have these videos that I've made that I'll be sending out this week for all these things. I made you a little handbook. I really went all nerd in for this. So you guys got all of my Capricorn energy for this. But I made a bunch of resources because this was never supposed to be just one person. I started leading during the pandemic, and so things shifted and we were digital for a while, so things turned to just me. But it really should be the whole team, because it's at the end of the day, I'm not going to get you free. You're going to get yourself free, right? I'm not going to bring you anywhere that you can't already bring yourself. We're all getting there together. And so I personally would love for it to feel reflected in the way we lead. And, there's only so many things I know. So you don't want to just hear from me every week. You want to hear from other people who know different things than me, so we can really round out our study and our practice. And then events-wise, the book sale is next weekend, used book sale and Old Town Art Fair. So they'll be selling books out at the front, and there'll be art all around. If you have any books to donate, Joy, I believe, is the contact. If you look at the website, it's up there, her email. But you can drop them off during the week if you want. And then we will